Once upon a time there was a man who thought about what would happen if his time would return every day. And the same day was repeated again and again. Although time did go forward, he continues to remain calm. On the same day again and again throughout the lineup, first of all, he seemed to him as interesting as possible, as soon as possible. Intuition to save his money without any consequences, since he had to return everything the next day. But as soon as there was enough time, he plunged into this monotonous routine and tried to break into thrillers, returning to a life of crime, feeling guilty about this crime. His actions, which have no proper consequence on the next day of life, because they do not make any sense in his biography, because time continues to flow, and the situation continues to grow so bad for him, that he continues to gain knowledge about himself, all around the world that exists in his time. Finally he was so dissatisfied with his life, he concentrated on accepting his life only to understand that he would also leave on this day, as always. Lived like this for 1,000 years when he met a girl with whom he spoke about his betrayal, because he had lost all his powers. At first she thought that he was just trying to impress her, but he was dead, and did not even say anything about his words. But only if she knew what was going on behind the whole story of him living the same day over and over again, just like before, like he was some kind of guinea bird going through some bright dreams. A man had thousands of skills for many lives, but he was very tired of it, everything, and just wanted to talk to someone about her situation. The girl obviously took on the accent and believed in it. He told him that he was stupid. He told her to come and save her from this unusual person, but he also knew his girlfriend good and told that only someone who spent a huge amount of time would know that she continues to threaten the hero, if only the one who spent a huge amount of time. Her friend can't be at the predictable date he told her. She'll be upset to hear what he told her. Her friend won't visit her, and she starts asking him about it because he doesn't know about her. After they've never met, he thinks the reason her friend didn't come to meet her is because he thinks it is precisely because her wife immediately made a return to her life that it is so hard for her today to ignore. Not only this, but her friend will also call her at the exact time that her back takes, as no one can predict. Something similar interested the girl and decided to keep aloof for some time, but everything went somehow unexpectedly, suddenly, Once again, when the boy appeared and tried to force her to drink with him, the man looked away and said that she was with him. After that, the killer comes into conflict with the character, throwing him a cigarette, but the character cannot and does not flinch. This leads to exhaustion in the boy. The boy has no choice, so he decides to crawl to the side and throw fire at him. However, the man instantly caught up with him and brought him an insidious blow to the bun. This act led particularly focused on the boss of the killer, who threatened the man for attacking his suspect. Even his threats do not work on the character, because he does not return from his ruthless acts of courage, but the man was ruthless and used his knowledge to call his boss. The group told him to control his people. The chief was surprised by his confidence and experience, but he was There was no choice, and what he told her about calling his friend true. When she addresses her friend before they are about to leave the fun club after this incident, the man got into her husband's car. Someone very powerful, believing that everything will return to normal in the near future, and invited the girl to spend money on this day all night with him before she gets in the car. She thinks maybe she will start turning all the police on him if she turns on him. Eventually, he starts arguing with her, and he only responded with a mild evil emoji to complete his target the moment he reached his target. Leaving the next day, he thinks that this day will be the same as always, as it usually is, when he frowns in his own place and continues on. Look out the window and think that the beauty he brought last night is now returning to his surprise the next time. This morning was different from previous days, and the girl demanded an explanation from him as from his description. This did not match the real results. The man tried to explain his prejudice by leaving the girl in the country. At the same time, when the heroine takes a bath, which he will experience, when the hero takes a bath, which he draws from what he received after experiencing the best bath of his life, the beauty in his room constantly dangles on his feet. Open the door for her because she is now asking him to answer all her questions as soon as he starts celebrating. After his liberation, he is stopped by a secret system reincarnation system. The system shows all the knowledge that he has received over these 1,000 years, and there is nothing in it. The whole world that he does not know. from hacking to cooking as a professional culinary specialist. He knows everything, he knows everyone around him, and knows everything he knows and knows everything he knows better. This mechanism tells him that he passed the test that passed thousands of years, and he is surprised that he passed the test that passed. The system offers him a set of menus that expands his new abilities, including the power of time control. If desired, the character realizes that his mental capabilities are far from exceeding his physical capabilities, feeling overwhelmed. With her new powers, the heroine glares at herself like an elf, insulting the girl who is. She also looks at him like she thinks there might be someone who has something broken in his head. When he comes out of the bathroom, he is looking for good things, news of his freedom with a girl, but their conversation goes on involuntarily when one of the men throws the door. The reason for this is the accusation that he killed his boss in his car, and their boss is none other than Wang, who is very famous in this world. And now they are both his and all his husbands, and although the girl is offended by the heroine of the character, says he didn't expect time to bounce back on this particular day, he's on his way to prove he's got something. A difficult past as an advanced student whose parents were seriously offended by some unscrupulous forces in society. The answer he tried to give to revenge, which subsequently led him on the path of becoming a highly intelligent person. This is a dangerous crime. He got 3 years for his actions, but he said he had to be careful how one who has used someone even more dangerously at night, must conduct himself with care in order to avoid being the most. In the desire of a man from China to plan his next steps, the heroine slows down the system and promises to stop during the day when he starts working. They go back to the moment when the girl asked for an explanation, but the heroine stops her playfully, putting it in her mouth and asking her to go for training. This leads to her hitting him and calling him innocent. He then explains him trouble for her, and the girl turns to him for help with a mobster problem that is expected of him. After death, the heroine assures her that his services will not be needed because he knows a woman who might be capable, just solve the problem for them, since she has a very soft corner for him. It is that a girl is a girl, a very interesting woman. The story begins with a car, where the owner of the car is watching the main character. The man who broke into his car, the girl who rides with the main character, is frightened by the fact that they are thugs, countering them with weapons, but the heroine sees herself satisfied with this passion and hurries to revive them. On the way, the girl is surprised by her slowness. In order to calm her down, the main character explains that he has nothing in common. Another choice is to go towards the guards or he will be in danger, although the owners of the car will be sure that they will be fine, as long as the owners of the car will be sure of. After they return to their car and dispose of the corpse in the depths of darkness, the heroine turns to a woman named Mary Lion, who goes by the name of Mary Lion, tells her that she has a dragon working for her, which could cause her to lose her money. Something unexpected, and Mary Lee tries to find out how he knows about it. The heroine believes that he has it, sources, and can even provide information about his brother, but due to the danger they threaten, he turns to him. However, Mary tries to send someone to hit him, but as the race continues, the hero takes advantage of his exceptional control skills to perform dangerous maneuvers and turns that allow him to instantly escape from guardians and then escape from them. And the girl in his house, leaving her surprised and wondering how he knew where she lived. The hero explains that he knows where she lived. He has improved his driving skills through thousands of close experiences, but he advises the girl not to try the way it was. It can be dangerous. She asks for his number, but the heroine slows down, leaving her feelings used and suspicious. The fact that her friend puts her in the role of the protagonist and then reveals to her that Mary Liz's family history is the front for. However, her brother is one of the most authoritative people in the Western China region because he has the ability to work in this direction. He also warns that he will have an intimate relationship with Mary Lion on one of his regular days thereafter. Arriving at Mary Li's office, she removes her guards and gives him the personal information that the heroine possesses. It seems to me that she revealed his name to Wu Cheng and all the information about his personal character. Educational life, as she not only does not stop there, she knows about her sister who is Yu Jiao and what she knows about her sister and what she knows. She is currently in school. The whole attitude of Mary Li is very impressive in that she discovered everything. This is information only with the help of his phone, but how and when the viewer finds out that he has a phone number, and when information about trade, the heroine reveals herself as an experienced trader and demands $10 million. In exchange for information, for example, he requests him and puts a weapon on him, but the heroine tells that a weapon is a weapon. There was not a single bullet leaving the ice, having no way to attack it. The ice was handled by the actor Steven and skillful. She was unsure of her actions when he was able to pull out a weapon from his workroom. The heroine used a lie. Conflict is a chance to explain that his ability as an informer was based on his vast knowledge that he had. This is already known about the location of the weapon, which gives him the benefit of it after he has reloaded the weapon for the character. Leaving her in a lie, telling her that his motives were only funded, Lee became interested and asked about her. What else did he know about her? In response, the heroine began to play with weapons when she was breathing. Details about Lee's life revealed in the story that despite being Lee's first lieutenant, she had a completely different attitude towards her. In order for her to be a girl, Lee set out to prove that women were only as capable as men, if not stronger than her. Mom made her marry a man she didn't love, but her interest in her mother, good fortune kept her aloof to avoid divorce. When she started a relationship, she ended up in the hospital or in jail because of her relatives' bad faith actions that led to her ending up in jail. The story that she had no companions and then moved into the business world of Mary Lee and her wife, made a bet to find out who he is to create the biggest commerce in 5 years. The heroine showed a trailer that was sold for lies, fantasy in order to sympathize with the victory for him. Y was convinced of his actions and signed a questionnaire. After the heroine found out who the main character in this situation was, she asked the heroine to reveal who was the main character in this case. After Feng Yum's assistant burst into the room, the hero instantly took action and squeezed him into a chair, forcing him to leave his workroom. When Van Jin refused to confess, the heroine was left with no choice, namely to tell the truth, not to tell lies. In order to confirm their union, she was obviously concerned and confronted the heroine for losing her trust. However, only 5 million. The heroine, however, transferred the blame to Lee's mother, believing that she forced him to do something else. She died from the man they wanted to meet her, and although he literally did not deny it, he said that it was her grandfather who wanted to marry a dinguru, but Lai decided to leave the gentleman who was having doubts. The hero who thought he had killed him, then told the hero that he had killed him, and told him that he had killed him. Terador will walk with the fish at night after they were buried in a room on the river bank, which is why she stated that she is now missing. The acting hero believed that the whole situation was arranged by her wife, who wanted to become her companion. The informant who approached Lee again threatened her to believe in him, saying that they would start making a love story in order to win her trust again. The protagonist believes that this is the best way to prove his innocence. Lee then he told him that she had her own wives and her wife Dinruel insults them all, but the heroine replied that it was true. It will be interesting to have a regular ship in which she affectionately puts a weapon on him, focusing on her qualities. She asks for it. And if he is not afraid of death, then the heroine tells her that he is not afraid of death, because if she wanted to kill him, she would have done it already. Why does she tell him that she loves him very much, and in order to form their fake relationship, they will take a photo after that? When he looks at the picture, he told her that they are already a couple, and that he can ask someone to register it later. She then asked what was happening to him. Speaking about her brother in business, the heroine starts commenting that brother is strengthening his relationship with brother. Very famous and tall people, and they have already experienced it. They can turn it off for a month, and they can turn off his channel for a month and he will be arrested in prison, but that also means that his family must be released from the family of worry lies. The story is about her brother, and the main character thinks it's true. Tonight he lies at the brothers' entertainment club. What happened to the hero in the morning? He tells what happened. Then we will meet with the owner of the car, Wang Yuan, who enthusiastically asks if the heroine wants to die, but someone called him a worker. He thinks that way as a heroine. Got my number and knew about the file about their lies. Brother El Ruathai said that no matter the reason, he only said that. She comes and asks him to pick him up so he can knock him down. They put their pieces and El's brother asked if something bad happened. Lee told him that she just wants to open it to someone. The heroine returns the keys to the car to the brother of Lai and says that he just took them for fun, and then he just took them for the guy who killed the hero. Tells a lie, brother, he is the guy who killed me. The hero thinks about the lie, but about the childhood of the lie and why the brother lies and is afraid of his sister. Why the brother lies so much. She tries to entertain the hero, but Lai's sister assures him that now the hero is her brother, who is now his brother. What exactly did he do to convince his sister of what she saw in him? Into his neck insults him just to keep the action together. In his head tells the story that his brother is almost dead. Detained at the scene for a real lie, Rutai believes that his sister is pregnant by an actor. He considers this a real lie. Real love and thoughts about how it happened or what the prostitute did to make her face has no experience. Love and his sister are only better. Alderman brother asked the main character how he met his sister and brother. The heroine spoke about the fact that she was at the institute for 3 months. Lila Sama, but Elle's brother asks him after 3 months of dating them they have already started the same job. Lima's love brother tells the hero that he saw another girl at the bar at night, and the hero told him that she was a girl. Mukane Kane is the son of the head of one of the biomedical organizations named after the East China Biomedical Group. He is also a member of one of the biomedical organizations named after the East China Biomedical Group. He says that if it wasn't for him, then his men could harm this man, who was supposed to destroy this man, who was supposed to wage war against this man. If he did nothing wrong, then he should be grateful to his brother-in-law for this heavy sister. Laya, who says that they should talk about it and informs her brother that someone above him wants to do it. Shooting at the graves, and Lai's brother thinks he has everything under control, so he doesn't realize it. As for the protagonist, he told him that this is happening in order to beat people, as well as for his business with very dangerous guys. Whose sister Vixen beats her brother for not listening to her and not doing anything about it. The man in the role of hero confirms this and claims that the man he was doing business for him brought him down because of a lie. The brother says that his sister did not know about this issue, so she asked how he knows about it. The character talks about how he is only here for his sister Lion and doesn't tend to say anything about brother Liber. Addressing the character and demanding that he speak calmly or that he kill him, the character calmly said that he killed him, and the character calmly said that many of the jurisdictions are aware of this issue, in particular what is known about, especially what is known about the police deputy. Agents of the suspect, the heroine, goes to giving a list of these agents to the brother Lies, and he has to make it right and left. Hand is designed to verify all this information and threatens the character to hit him if it is true, but after he confirmed it and confirmed, but after confirming, what did he say? He promises to kill everyone involved. The hero said he had to deal with it in order for them to start their attack. Lai's brother asked the protagonist about the plans, and the protagonist said that he had plans, and the protagonist said that he had. He told him that all he needed was Apollo to thank him, and he would fix it for him starting from the same. The question of how much money brother Lai intends to spend in order to save his future is what he intends to do in order to. This Lai's sister tells him that they are a family and asked the main character to help his brother. But the main character tells her that Lay's brother does not love him as a relative, so Lay's brother starts working and accepts him as his family. Heroes such as brother-in-law, he insults and asks to tell him what he needs to do. Such a hero speaks for his sister behind the lies. He should tell him what he needs. Husband named Zay, with whom he was engaged precisely because he goes to the villa in order to improve. But when he starts working with drugs with Mr., the second thing he needs to do is get him back the documents that the police representative has in the case of him and his business to his brother Lai, which he agrees to do, as his hero said. But the protagonist reminded him that it would not be easy, because the proof would be kept in a secure location, in a very secure location. So he'll use something like 571-1564 to destroy evidence of that. Sister Lai is surprised that the heroine knows a lot of information, just like the heroine tells him that he should tell the old man from the family and what happened to the dangerous man he worked with in business, because the family wanted to catch him. And then the heroine tells that the La family and the Y family have an endless war with holes in order to get rid of them. Why is this character warning him not to attack Y right now, so that he can solve his problems? Brother Lai agrees to tell about the old man. The hero is that he will have to make a small fire in the club that he walks. What offends Brother Lee? The heroine tells him that this will be a good excuse for his suspicions to be about him. After that, Laya's sister asked her brother if he understood everything when he killed his brother. Fear believes that he will do everything that brother-in-law told him at the moment when Lai's brother receives information that at that moment Lai's brother receives about the fact that one of his husbands lost $2 million. Lai's brother asked the actor to say goodbye to him, that he should go and come to terms with this something in the casino, but the heroine says that this is Sheng Guangxing, who is the owner for Sheng. The aluminum brother smiles as the character knows what happened, and then both the character and the hero The Lie brothers go to the casino of the brother of Lies, where the heroine informs him that this man has invited him to play something. An expert from the city of Macau in the special administrative zone intends to freeze the past incident that occurred in this area. This is so that the heroine tells her brother that the problem of the club is not for him and not for him, but so that he is not offended or that he does not photos of celebrity to be blackmail, but this is his business with a person who is dangerous and can do a lot. Rich people come here to lose money. One of the cases is the case of a maniac who lost millions of dollars. And his revenge he told her for the Y family, and they started looking around the Lee Bratz casino, and they found them in the Lee Bratz casino, and they found very valuable information with which they could destroy the Lie and can provoke the Lie brother and want him. However, the hero told him to calm down and let him talk to him, and Sheng told him that he wanted him not to kill him, but he told him that he wanted him. It seems to me that he won, on which Lie's brother said that they can return her. Sheng informs him that he has many more. He can still play with the masters, so the heroine volunteers in order to make a game for the next game master, who is Shen. In this scene, Sheng celebrates his victory in the money race and confidently declares that he will win. This further causes Lei's brother to become anxious, and he seeks his sister's opinion on the character. Gambling abilities of Sister Lai admitted that she does not know if the hero can play with her sister. Lisa then turns to the character and asks questions about his intellectual background, and the character answers with a grin. The certainty that he can win at any casino in the world when the game starts and the main character plays 500,000 with confidence as the protagonist continues to defeat the brother of Life starts. After he brought him to him, Sheng becomes confident that the heroine was within the bounds of being in the top 3 that his dragons brought him. Despite this, the hero continues to win during the tournament and decides to increase his bets by 1. However, Master Gambler is trying to proclaim a hero by increasing bet by 100 million. The ultimate Master Gambler believes he has won, but it is clear that the character had a card that guaranteed his victory to the Master Gambler. The gambler becomes worried and offended because he has been cheated. The games continue, and the hero will win every round in the match. There have been 31 matches in total, but in one match, rival gambler admits that they both have very even hands and very even hands, invites the character to bet $200 million, and the character agrees and puts his sister Lai on bet. She expresses her condolences for the high cost of the gaming tournament, but her brother disagrees and sees it as a chance. In order to rely on the character's apparent luck, Master Gambler points out that his apparent luck is that it is the character issues were his loss, and he comes up with a winning card that leads the viewer to change. The son in his story of the last time brother Henton lies when it seems that he lost his money, but the heroine revealed the secret, that he did not lose, and invites brother Lai to check the result, and Master Gambler reveals the secret of the heroes, a winning card that surprised everyone, including Shem, who once argued with Lai's brother when Master Gambler asks questions. In the event that the hero saw his cards, the hero confesses that he experienced awkward attention on them, despite the fact that he looked at them without that. Master Gambler remarked that the situation would be difficult for Sheng. That's all he brought to the casino today. It was money from philanthropists, and now he must decide how he will keep all the financial support of the character. Afterwards, he remarks on his playing skills and believes that he planned the game from the beginning to make the gambler master better. After his older brother Lai continues to kill Cheng, but the heroine moves on to the question of her brother's life in one life. Knife he takes the master of the gambler in his hand and shows everyone who held him on the card that he did not reveal, because he did not reveal it, because he did not reveal it. He constantly lost the master gambler, who tries to say that it was a mistake, but the heroine clutches her hand on her forehead, on the table and threatening him for losing his arm. Sheng gets lost in the character's behavior, and that I had to convince the master gambler that he was trying to bring down the character, returns him to his brother Lion, who taught him. In order to deal with the situation, the sister of Lies turns to the character and asks him if he feels any doubts or insults. In response to his actions, the hero replies that he does not feel anything, because he considers him guilty, that he considers him guilty, that he considers him. The story that the heroine tried to save her sister is surprised by his calmness and suspicions that someone may have killed him earlier. In other words, the type of rider he had throughout this incident must be a bad lion sister for him. The characters are traveling together in a car when Lai's sister is surprised to say that he is good at acting, because he is good at acting, because he is good at acting. He is an arms dealer, but the heroine quickly changes the subject and warns her to give him what they mean. After he agrees with his former sister, he realizes that he is only interested in money. Suddenly the hero realizes that he is only interested in money. The car follows them and the sister lies about them, and the sister lies about them, and the sister lies about them, and the sister lies about that man who wants to marry her, but the heroine thinks that they will not be after her, which seems like some kind of confusion. She lies on her sister's fear. The heroine holds her hand and promises that everything will be fine. Sister Lee is pleased with how he handled the situation and offers to go out to dinner with him as a tribute when the two come over for dinner in a luxurious restaurant, and the main character asks his sister to talk about so that she can see him with her sister to talk about her. She wants everyone to know that they are together when they have dinner. An old man named Gandeli, who is the chairman of the board Chang Innovation Group, came to visit his sister Lai, who invites him to visit him, and his wife congratulates the protagonist with soft words. Gandeli confesses to breaking their date and leaves them alone. After his client arrives, the sister talks about his position and character, not about the character. He leaves her and believes that he knows more about him than she does, and their companion Lai says that many people do this. At this moment, I don't want to hurt her. With the help of the Luguania doll, you start to drag your sister. The men, for her to be the older sister of Lai, are upset and ready to quit coffee, but the heroine stopped her. The heroine gets up and addresses you to the holidays, saying that it looks like a familiar vacation, and you are also nervous about what I want. The plot asked her if he saw her in The Wanderer. Absolutely, instantly it throws cocoa in your hands. The conflict breaks down over the holidays. You protest angrily, believing that this is bad, and the heroine confronts her, telling her that this is bad, and the hero that he knows she's had plastic surgery, but it won't change her past when he said you were. It was surprising, because it's been more than 10 years, and the barking itself is surprised at the level of intelligence of the one who possesses this information. At this moment, the hero comes up to you and asks Coco for you why she argues. Coco for you dramatizes and dramatizes and dramatizes and dramatizes and dramatizes and dramatizes. Tells him that the characters called her and asked him to kill her for his fault, and the man asks his sister that she be. In order to explain and ask about the personality of the protagonist, Lee is looking for him as her Guangnan wife. Ensures the character, saying that what he did was just how to offend him, and he will not cope with these words on his own. However, the calm hero believes that he has someone who will do it for him. Maybe he won't be able to save him, but at that moment the heroine calls MANHUA Fang, which is the name that scares Guam like him. I don't think that the heroine knows this person, but Barking doesn't understand what his reaction is about, exactly how she reacts. If he does not know about the past, then the heroine takes Guang to her private room and starts telling him about what kind of woman Liu Li Lu was. Love was tempted to work in a tramp, but at that moment she met a rich man. Some time later this man could not do it in order to have children because of a quarrel with another person, and one day he told Liu about it. Liu thought that he would do plastic surgery so that, with the help of her companion, she could marry a rich client within a few years, and then a small child would be born for life, which obviously belonged to Liu, but they paid the doctor who did the DNA test to mold him, so they paid to mold him. The protagonist tells Gunga that he should have noticed this before identifying him, and then decides that their plan is for him to die in one of the temples, a bus, so that Liu and his lover can keep their money. Although Guang does not consider the protagonist tells him that he can prove that Liu and his wife are still married because they were at the bar the day Guang meets Leah. When he asks her if she can befriend her, last night she was with her friend, and she confesses him suspiciously, and then Vaughn finds out and tries to do it, and she tries to do it. Dramatically, Guang frowns and promises to lose her, for he already knows everything. After that, Guang is hurt. Thank you for putting on a performance and for the fact that he could not get a stun, and then the role of a hero, and also for the fact that he could not get. He goes on and says it's not, and he has to tell him one more story that he needs to hear from this story. Pietro talks about two guys who were once happy and lived together, but their love was not happy. Recently, when a man lost her from choosing money and from worrying about his love, things only got worse than a woman. She became pregnant, and her parents hated her for their situation, despite all the difficulties that the girl nobly bestowed on her. A child alone who grew up to become a successful person with her family. During the course of their conversation, the character tells Gunga that he not only has a son, but also a little brother. Wang's wife was not married, afraid to marry. After the heroine ends up in the hospital, the hero gives Gunga a card with his first love's address, so that he gets his first love's address, so that he can be happy. Maybe I can get to know him again. Gwang is concerned and grateful to the hero for being as sweet as they are. Part of how the heroine leaves the apartment. Why does anyone know that her wife and her men are watching her attempts? The acting hero is closer to him and nods passionately in response. The acting hero caresses her, promising that he can say it. This was our first meeting in the apartment of the character, the girl he confused with him, and her friend Lily was waiting for him in anticipation. The girl's friend is offended and expects him to beat him for what he did to her, but the girl defends him, stating that she had something to do, but it was done by hand, but her friend still accuses her of cheating on him when the hero comes to him. When the heroine comes too, the girl's friend confronts him for what he did for KN. The heroine plays a petting act on her for being scared. After this, it is a secret to Kyan's colleague that her wife is trying to hurt her, and proposes to her so that he can plead his innocence for himself. Ken's girlfriend Lily decides to check the truth and turns to her husband, only to confirm that he is. She really tries to hurt her. Gloomy and depressed, she returns to the building, leaving Kyan alone and running towards the window. The character is saved when she continues to do what she knows, and the heroine uses it at some point and throws Kyan into her apartment. Despite protests and insults, the heroine goes out of her mind and asks questions. Kyan, if she leaves, Kyan responds by telling him to leave her to sleep due to all the actions from them. Last night, the heroine gives her number so that they can get to know each other and dance with each other again after this evening on stage. The acting hero realizes that someone is watching him. He talks to someone on the phone and invites to meet them at the hotel. At the training camp, the hero then starts to train because he knows that he is threatened by someone dangerous. You need to prepare for precisely in order to prepare for precisely in order to prepare for this, precisely for. The plot tells that he sent people in order to protect him. The main character warns Wang that immediately Lai's brother will know what he is doing. If Barking doesn't do anything, Wang gets scared and asks the character what he wants from him. The acting hero suggests that they be comrades so that he can use them later if he needs to. When he agrees and Wang agrees and Wang agrees and V. At this moment, the heroine knows that he already has his hands to rely on his strength in case the liar attacks him at that moment. Sister Lai. The plot and asks him to return to the office hurriedly. Wang confesses to giving him his car and clothes, as well as his clothes. The acting hero comes to the office and finds a lot of work for him. He will ask his sister about what is happening and what she is doing. She informs him that her singer and producer had an accident, and the hero understands that this is not an accident. Conflict and Lies agree that she believes that someone is trying to push the boundaries of the character because she believes that someone offers to find a replacement, but Life believes that they have a very high level, and the main character considers the one who is famous. Actor Talmanyan, Russia's first-class movie star, with some valuable awards, including Golden, the best prize, but Lee thinks that she is too famous for them, but the heroine is confident and offers him one of the roles, but the main character is confident and offers him one. So he really said that he should be ready to sign the contract the next day. Barking looks at himself as an actor. The actor is very famous and has a very long schedule. The main character knows it's a big task, but he's willing to accept it. If the risk, other than thumbing, is currently in a foreign country, then the heroine strongly insists on placing bets, and the lieutenant decides so. As soon as the heroine passes out, the heroine promises her that he will have his actress the next day, and if he cannot, maybe he will pay her 10 million and another 10 million, but if he invites an actor she should give her 10 million, but if he invites an actor she must. If he wins 20 million she won't be mad at him. Relationship and she shouldn't feel hatred for him. It is better to talk, and then the hero returns happily. The hero turns to Wang for help and asks for the best. The teams in the Wang group start to play. When they start to play, the main character gives some guidance to the items and they go to them. The name must be added to the last name, and then they must wait for it at the square, in which the hero invests $10. $1 million in the game. 4 hours later, Ung and his characters are playing an MMORPG, and have won many wins. And then Wang told the characters that they are now the biggest group on the server, but he forgives him for that. After $8 million, the heroine tells him that there are no random players in this game, and now there is only a second large grouping. Against this group, an intense battle between these groups began, and then the head of the club is a hero. In the attack accused the character of being such a fan of this game as he spent $2,000, but he believes that he is such a fan of it. Both clans have the same power so no winner is visible. The heroine replies that the winner will be the winner. It will soon be decided that with this certainty the leader of the rival club should ask the hero how he will win the victory, not him. The character told him that the one who would win would be this guy, and then it was the character who told him that he would win, and then, men should not part and stay in the game. The head of the Rivalsky club urges him not to stay in the game, because he did not get a worthy opponent later. The acting hero tells him that it will be inevitable because his wife has lost the girl who was voiced in the commercial. But he tested his products and was in an accident, so now he must help her. The confident guy tells the hero that he can get so that he can help them as soon as possible if he keeps the words he promised. Thus a hero smells, for he has reached his destiny. The heroine shows him on the air where he is and where he is after that. The acting hero is instantly disabled after he receives a message from the leader of the group they just encountered him. It turns out that he will ask the owner of the server, who spent so much, and the hero will agree to meet him and agree to what he had in mind. They promised, and then they told the military men that they could leave if they had nothing else. Meets in a special building. When she comes to the established building, the heroine asks someone to call Barking, but the man who will call A. But this man looks suspiciously at the character and asks him if he was the girl he played with the character and get to know him. And then someone will ask him if he knows his character, tells him about his whole biography. Someone will then ask him if he knows him, comes from any family he knows about, which the heroine approaches him with pleasure and asks if he will plan. After the murder, the hero tells Liu that his family has one of the largest companies in the world and many in this family. As for those who address him as dragons, despite this barking, he continues to insist on questions about what kind of family he comes from. And the main character tells him that he is not from Lee's top family and thinks he can get information. She asked about him and asked about how to get to that amount of money that he can't rent the rep. The heroine tells him that someone has someone. They have been attacked, so not many think about what to do with them, and few think about what they will do. Billions per game in order to kill players and knock them off Steam, in which the heroine tells him that his wife is his wife. From life the family will smile and tell him that he should be where he should be, and he should be where he should be. Votes for him for 10 million for games. The hero comments that at this point he can't explain it, so he can't explain it that way. The guys reminded him of Bet, who unexpectedly lies, and the main character begins to tell Leah what is happening with his companion. The company and how someone named Ding tried to attack them. Barking knows his name, and the heroine talks about his name, and someone talks about the hero, the one whom Barking wants to protect, but the hero cannot believe it, because his pride as a man hinders him, and his pride as a man hinders him. Lai understands and agrees to help. The heroine tells Leah about what he did with Laya, who was the personification of Lai's lies. She agrees to help him, and the main character believes that Lei will not do him any harm for trying to defeat Dane Lei. The character gives him the right to call his brother and ask him if it was an accident that they met on his phone to catch, and said that he must find the owner of this number. The owner must tell him about his life. The bus 10 years ago in this light beam changed his look to absolutely disgusting, although the heroine is already ready to tell the story of the one who killed the brother who ruined his brother's life. He must be quick to reach the biggest opponent as well as himself. There is a possibility that he will leave the country. What should he do? Rather than inform his people to be ready for their actions to speed up the process, because they cannot throw it back. From his soul, he remembers Dark Knight, who came into his life when he suddenly crashed into his life, as if he suddenly crashed into a car designed to. Their car was on the road. Although the brotherly lady tried to get him back quickly, nothing helped him at all. The car threw them right off the roof, and the car instantly sank into huge lights in just a minute, as in an instant. It was not very hard for the brother who somehow saved his life, but he lost his beloved mother in an accident, who died. In order for collision to catch, he had to endure 3 months, during which his agent brought him. He had some knowledge of the pilot, and the driver was in the department of Hongfa Group and worked straight for his brother Leu, as well as for his brother Leu, as well as for what she lost direct evidence of what he had against them, so he had to accept his father's words and try to forget about them. Although it was impossible to accept such a thing that all these 10 years are likely to continue to operate, like a silent and sentimental red butterfly, waiting for Hingshan to hell so that he can find out the truth. Outside of its destruction, when the heroine and her brother were talking to each other, one of his men burst into the room to say that they were dead. Name and address information has been verified. Brother Lie is aware that he must go as soon as possible. Brother Lie is aware that he must go as soon as possible. Maybe he said about his return to the hero Brother Lie and said that he should be condemned to him and he could be give him what he wants now as he is his brother. Within 2 days he had already received 2 of his brothers who would do nothing for them, like they were Lu Guanyin last night and they were Lu Guanyin last night. Lei Cheng is today, but he remembers that he will have to take care of something even more important than what he has to do. Got 20 million first and also an annulled response from Mary Lai the moment he laughs on his phone. The automatic voice says that his call is in place, so he must try later after some time. Mary's life. He says that she has a meeting, but he soon realizes that she must also swear at him, for the same reason that she thinks that she should. After getting $20 million to play with, he decides to hang up and say what women do. They often lose the value of a certain target, and the hero goes to the road with his bright car, with which he goes to the road. And now, in his mind, he instantly notices other bright luxury cars around him, and in one of them was Su King, who is the king, and in one, she is one of the most beautiful women in East China, and she is one of the women with whom he spent a lot of personal time. However, how she was able to convince him to the greatest extent in the life of a past reincarnation may seem unrealistic, but it is. Most of all, it differs from the outside in the outside, because it is the most resentful and evidence in relation to behavior and behavior. The atmosphere in which the heroine decides to immerse herself in the topic of flirting, after having the opportunity to get acquainted with all the unexpected feelings. It might be a good idea, but instead of answering his plea or support, Ying decides to do it instead of responding to or supporting him. Open the car door in his face, which makes him look like a clown again when he texts her about it again. The heroine knows that she will be surprised after receiving the text, knowing that practically no one knows about her number, because she keeps it rather a secret. He knows from everyone that this will make her take the initiative to ask him a question and negotiate, so he decides to wait for it. Here he is driving his car for a long time. Soon he receives an answer from nowhere, which makes him feel that it was too much soon, but it seems that the person who told him is none other than his so-called wife. Why, the Ruthai who called him to give him something in pure joy. He starts going to his brother and thinks that it might be something important. Maybe Lai's brother wanted to give him a huge apartment that has 3 floors above ground level and 1 below, for a total of 3 floors. In 600 SQ. And apartments. He could not believe that he could do this for him, to make him feel like this, as if the dream could be real. He says that the heroine has already been a great help today, because already today he received all his powers, and, at the same time, he was worried about his sister and did a lot, while he was very concerned about his sister, as well as did not want to do it. Stay in the same old house because she is pregnant according to her. So, and brother barking, I want it to be early, a gift for a wedding, and he asked the actors for an ID, so that they can make a deal now as quickly as possible, so that our man turns out to be right. On the other side, Tao starts going to the Lai office and talking to Mary Lai, saying that she has his visit, but the administrator cannot find any details about him on the site. At the same moment, all the members of the working room could not calmly hold their chairs, knowing that they were not there. It seems to me that no one is suitable for promoting products, because the conference is only 13 days long. Now it is not suitable for liaising. She knew about the arrival of the Tao, because she did not receive calls from the characters, therefore she was at the barricades during the meeting, so she stayed at the barricades during the meeting. In the room next to the workers, she immediately receives a call from the counter, saying that Tao Manning has already arrived. At the office, they are waiting to meet him, and she understands that it must be the main character, like none of them. The workers invite her when she starts dating Tao. She believes that her master is Mary Li Zhang and her relatives. The heroes are the same as the brothers, and this is the only reason that she came to the signing of the contract. Mary Lai could not help, but I wonder how it happened when he didn't tell her that he knew Li King, Li Yanghui's son of a family of fragile traps, just like Tao has. For both of them to hurry on the signing of the representation agreement, and this ended with a huge success for them. Eventually, shortly after, the heroine starts making her usual entrance to the apartment building to meet him. The second time with Mary Lai, but this time he tries to thank from the beginning, because he already promised as he promised. He said what he would do, and she asks him how he knows Li Qing. There are cards in front of her, and they write about the fact that Mary Lion stands behind Mary, in order to keep the promise. What she did for her is that he announces her name and lies on the ground, which seems unbelievable for a character. After some time, Li turns to her brother and says that someone is looking for a hero, because he just received the news. There is nothing normal in the news, and the one who examines it is none other than Golden Service Group, the Golden Service Group, the Golden Service Group, the Golden Service Group, the Su family. When Mary Lai hears that the Su family is behind him, she is very worried and keeps asking him about it, but he refuses to answer them at any price because she will take a risk from her. After Mary Lai is faced with the fact that he can try to be secret again when he does the action, he thinks that he can be secret again when he is unhappy suddenly in order to make her love for him, but the main character starts to figure out all the contradictions, but in the end, the heroine starts to figure out everything, saying it's no coincidence, she's neither the most beautiful nor the richest woman in the world, so it's true. I don't think that he will do anything like that for her. She soon realizes that he can have relationships with many women. She is more beautiful and stronger than her, so he tries to make her a problem by expanding the conversation, which gives her a question to ask. And here is an example from him, but the heroine already knows her secret and says that despite the fact that she is trying to help her, he said that despite the fact that she is trying, don't mess with it, because he gets into his freedom zone and they constantly chat with each other. The protagonist receives an unexpected phone call from Su King, who says that they should get to know each other, so they should get to know each other, so they should. Visit should be scheduled soon. The heroine begins to ask her about the meeting in person in order for him to do so, which Ying answers, saying it, and they are going to meet in their private Tangsha room at the club the next morning because she has a lot to talk to with him. Ying sets the date for the next morning at 9 o'clock and said that he should call her after he arrived in the area. The whole conversation between them, Ian and the heroine, make Mary uncomfortable when she starts asking him about being his woman, and she starts asking him about her being and already or not. The heroine says that she is still not his wife, but maybe there are some chances to fulfill her, but maybe some. Here are the criteria for a few days that he does not know about. I heard about her affiliations because it's not a secret to the public, and it seems that Ying's mother is so strict that he keeps the family stricter than the family. Whenever he is already dead and old, the only way he has made his leading life is to keep himself in subjection to might and make sure of. She doesn't like it even when she goes on a foreign vacation, leaving bodyguards nearby 24/7. To build a relationship with Jan is what for, which makes the situation more tense in the same way that a man cannot be so young or so young, and at the same time his assets must be at least 1 million. The husband will have to marry into the Sio family after he starts thinking about all the conditions that will develop around Mary Lai. He thinks that there is no way that he would accept such a thing along with Ying. She says that he should not have gone to meet her, and he instantly gives him an offer to do one more garbage later and there as he wants. Like the mother of lies, she again and again and again and again, voting for bed over and over again, makes the character feel like they're already being tried for her, because she's already lost to him in one match, but that's not the case. Along with this, Mary Lee ends up promising him 30 days to keep her promise, and if not, he will lose. He will have to do the same thing that she did in front of him after she lost him. He believes that he needs only 3 days to be on his way to Su King Ying, so that she becomes a woman who will make her stay with him for the rest of your life, and ends up asking her about what she will do after she loses. The best of how it ends. After she fell from her side, a strong communication began between them, and they continue to quarrel with everyone. Another thing, Mary Lai proceeds to the fact that if she loses her again, she will again confess to it. A victory that shortens the final round the next day, and the heroine finds herself back in the Tangshe private club, what is located in the eastern part of the town of Dongdi. When he comes to the club, the administrator confirms that at the time of his arrival at the club, the waiter confirms that there is nothing wrong with the club. He's here to meet Mizu and make sure his name is already known, waiting for him, and he continues to take her to the place where she is now for some time after some time in this area after some. In the end, the heroine comes to Gold Court, where Ian plays his place, and she starts asking him about what he is doing. The problem that he revealed to her that day through a letter to her, but he believes that in the way he knew it does not matter. It will all end with her trying to call her the price, because she believed that he could be offended from the beginning. When she starts beating her, when the heroine asks her about it, she says that if he does not want to take the money, he will make him more suspicious, which leads him to ask her about why she didn't bring more guards, so they could only detain and arrest him. Here he is, and here and here and here he is, and here 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 and here, opening up so she won't do anything like that. Also that no one will do so for him, something that will make her confident, and he instantly falls in love with her because of all that happened all of a sudden. He will teach her how to play golf so she won't talk too much about him. Mary Lai would never leave him alone if she knew that he was doing this to her at that very moment, if she knew that he was doing this to her just here to teach him how to play, but he is not afraid of his life at all, because he is the only one who should be afraid of death, not her Ian's bodyguards. I do not understand what they should do, because now they cannot be sure that she is against his actions or not. Ying starts to threaten him by turning to his wife Mary to smile at him, and he tells him that he supports him when he addresses his wife Mary. She is definitely afraid of him, but she should be afraid of him, since he already keeps all his secrets, which makes them scary as well. Somehow she could not believe how he could give her such a grip, so that she would insult him, but instead of being frightened, the heroine begins to cry. Speaking about how she needs to correct her behavior when playing golf, the actions that an unknown person does are benefited. The men go to their side and then they start talking to the mother, believing that their little girl might be in danger, so their mother might be in danger like that. In order for them to get her approval, the heroine continues to worry about the right position again, as before. After she begins to move correctly, she finally begins to do the ski snatch on the field, which the heroine talks about. However, he says that he can never teach her anymore because her mother has already brought her. Someone is already trying to arrest him already, and it seems that all his suspicions are correct, and the guards are constantly updating. Mama not stop about what the heroine is doing to her now, what she is so worried about. Continues to go to the club, using her car to get inside. Ying's mother did her job in order to get to the club as soon as she got to the club, immediately as soon as possible, and the guards keep updating it all the time, so that the heroine cannot escape. Even if he tries to do anything, and even if he tries to do this, and even Ying herself asks what to do, and Mom does not know what to do. Upon reaching the location, which allows the hero to propose a plan to get back together as soon as possible, which provides an opportunity for them to be together in. What does she think? When she breathes in a deep sense, he insistently and constantly asks if she wants to continue to live as she wants to live as and a prisoner all his life, and instantly throws up his hands, saying that they should only think about something and not think. The time they start walking, the bodyguards start catching them around them, and then walk forward towards them. At some point, they begin to drive into the car in which the heroine brought. At that moment, the bodyguard stopped right here. Tell their boss so she can find out that her daughter is now with a guy, because they drive towards the street. Even the woman could not believe it. While something like this could happen in her life, and while the protagonist asked if this could happen in her life, everything that happens in their life, to which she believes that it is not at the moment when she receives a call from her mother, which greatly disturbs her. As for the situation in which in a moment the main character suggests that she should think about what happens from that moment on. Mama Ying constantly asks about who she is now, because she is trying to do the best job. In order for her to get to her, she replies that she is with a friend, which will end with her mother so badly that she did not expect. She constantly tries to ask her questions, from who she's with her to the topic she's now talking about, like she can't and won't stop them. And then her mother constantly threatens her to return home as quickly as possible, but according to experts, she believes that she will be able to go home as quickly as possible. She intends to act on her will today, and for sure she will address her mother, as if she were again and again. It is already very difficult for her to live according to her own rule templates, to the point where she cannot hold on to her thoughts, but lives like a navel. Speaking of her mother, she intends to live like a person who has her own choices and throws her phone in the street. From the car at the same moment, the hero said that the mother would try to look at her as a mother. The ability of the Sayo family is very impressive at the beginning. He also keeps asking her if she is scared. You should come with him, as he might be the person who is trying to kill and sell him to someone who might end up killing himself. Life King is sure that a mother should not give so much strength to look at her daughter, because she tends to take care of her daughter. More about the family and the fact that she came with him is not important. For all her life she was with him, but no one could come to her because of her life and family situations, and she is also in a bad condition because she is in a bad condition. Let's start with her life, when people always praise her for what she has in life, and not for what she has in life. And not for the fact that she looks around herself, not a single person she has met in life. She was always interested in her and her only, and at the same time Mom wanted to use her as a dude who would listen. All words, and she never allowed her to eat anything else that was not offered to her mother. Since she never ate anything else that was not offered to her mother, she does not want her to lose weight and lose the title of the most handsome man. She thinks that she is very tired of all this. Going to him should have been the best choice she'd ever made in her life, because she could be comfortable with him as a person. And then she walks to the chair. She tries again to ask him about her sex life. Click and hit him powerfully, and she is focused exactly on the street, because he must go, and he must already go, of which he is already very tired. Suddenly he begins to get annoyed at what he saw in her, thought that she could die from death. Otherwise she won't do it when he rides in the car. After she started talking, even before she started to continue the conversation, and she realizes that she has no other choice but to. After listening to him, the heroine begins to think about her secret qualities, which are very interesting, like when he will live in one of the separate reincarnations. When he met her on the day of the millennium, when he captured her for the first time, he still remembers that day clearly, as she is still the most beautiful girl in the world without any scars, and to satisfy her strong fantasy, she ended. The card for him was filled with comments in front of him, and was filled with questions about her deep desires. Even though she may have a little crystal clear perfected picture in front of everyone, the fact is behind him. Still something other than her real self constantly leaves her on her knees, like parentheses. The entire post not only seemed iron rings and masks on her body, but also textual evidence of her hidden qualities as an egg, and he might not help, but I think he will have to use this attribute of her one day. He warns her to stand still and calm, put her in the seat and ask her where she wants to go so they can go where they want. The apartment, to which he instantly comes, and then after 4 hours both are dead and lie on each another, and suddenly the heroine turns out to be turned to Brother Lee, who sounds restless about him, and Mary Sue also went too far to visit him to look at the character after he heard it from what the character thinks it is a small little a problem that he will do on his own. He should not interfere in it, because this can create a problem for him, which can at any moment get out of balance after he can get out at any moment. After the heroine makes a call, the heroine gets a call from the lyric, who wants to know about the situation between him and the Sue family. She could already notice that between the two parties, it was already clear that there was a tense situation between them, which was already. After she asks about making the situation clearer to herself, the heroine begins to hold the phone closer to Jan, who then turns out to be nearby. He speaks as immediately as he said that he can say what he wants. After realizing what is going on, Ying starts holding the phone in order to answer the call of the one who called him, and decides to ask a question. The person on the other side of the phone, after they talk out loud, after a while they both understand who they are talking to. Life will start asking about her connection to the characters after she has reached her awareness. They are just friends who talk about how they work with each other, but Ruben's lies clearly understood that they work with each other. But Ruben, she talked about something else before, but for some reason she thought that they were already friends right now. Just like that, she seems to feel suspicious, and then thinks that Ing should return the phone to the hero, which she does and lies. When he asks him about his place, the heroine believes that he is still in the old apartment in Villa, which his brother gave him after he heard what his brother said. Lai says that they should wait for her here as soon as she comes. He himself believes that things will be more and more interesting once the lyricism comes in, which makes Ying worry because she has so much time. When he realizes that he really cares about her knowing everything or not, then the heroine decides to clean up. Yang is ahead and he starts talking about his secret that they are not real in the relationship that everyone thinks. After I heard about Yang, she gets very jealous because she already knows about the 3 fake lie brothers, but the protagonist is the heroine. Kind of a skeptic about the whole thing, that he tells her that she shouldn't pass this fact on to anyone, like a lie. The young brother does not know about this, and will be very worried if he knows about it. This situation makes her understand that the reason why he sent her a fake shirt and told her, is because he told her that she's not afraid of lying at all, because it was his plan that he did from the start. But this becomes another ridiculous incident between them because she couldn't be pleased after he starts nibbling and hugging her close to him. Once again, it seems that she has no suspicions about him because she believes that he did only good for him. She did this, and on the other side of the street she cursed affectionately, and on the other side of the street she cursed affectionately, and not in their way, not on. To understand why someone like Yang might find himself in a suspicious relationship with a character because he can't do anything in any sense, Mary Lee understands that, as in the past case, when Tao Young signed a contract, this is the only issue in this matter. Among this character, she only makes her feel that he must be some kind of god who has indifference and immortality. secret skills and abilities, and then, after 40 minutes, a trap that finally reached the main character at home. And yet he begins to greet her with his cute greeting. As soon as she steps inside the house, she becomes preoccupied and anxious. Looks at Yin and asks where she is and sees that Yin is wearing a jacket. I hate to lie to Ruben, who had difficulty making sure who she sees around her the whole image of Jan. Every moment she becomes more and more amazing when she sees her culinary work for the character and her at the same time. Only later, when she is only after an unexpected arrival in life, she is preparing for herself, and why the lieutenant begins to ask about the character as a hero, and why the lieutenant begins to ask. She couldn't close her head to all this. What to do for him when she doubts that Ying is his woman. He said that she just became his. Knowing nothing about them, Ian suddenly turns to the character, stating that breakfast will be ready soon. And she needs to go to the toilet, so that he looks at the pan a little more before leaving because he is leaving. Jan believes that in order to avoid anything bad, it is worth lying on the table because breakfast will be ready as soon as possible, which causes more nervous thoughts. Like never before, his feminism is thrown out the window. They are all going on a diet soon because the food is already ready, and she goes so far as to feed a character who will be too hard to lie to contain the feeling of being left out. She was in a lot of pain, which made her think that she could not be brought to the astral again, so she decided to be able to do just that. An initiative to attack rival Mary Lai ended with a question about the length of their relationship, which Ian believes is their love. This happened after they got into the first stage for one another, which destroyed their destined life, and it became obvious that they believe that someone can get caught for someone like the heroine after discovering his secret and unusual family. While she herself was born from a traditional family, she immediately starts talking about what she knows about him and lies. This is a false connection that they constantly make in order to maintain position around their wife. The basic truth, what came from his mouth and will end with her, that makes Mary lie in a moment like her mother, in a moment like her mother, in a moment like her. The acting hero and Ying continue their romantic careers because they have a woman in front, and the situation becomes clear ahead. Mary lies about which she decides to act, and she takes one of the spatulas in order to feed the heroine towards Yang. When the protagonist realizes they have nothing else to do but keep the action going, they all turn off their ears. While he quickly swallows his food, when the heroine completes her food, he says that in front of them and in front of them. Between them, and Ying instantly believes that she will be cleaned, and he should come to marry the caress when it is over, because they cannot ignore their guests, as they do not ignore the mess. Immediately after Ying leaves for the room with the remains, Mary Lee instantly steps out of her chair to meet her fate companion. Speaking of the situation closer to them, she shifts her actions by leaning on his hands, but he decides to take them over. Another level is by sinking into a chair and throwing it at you, and not focusing on this issue. Instead of focusing on this issue he thinks that she still needs to talk about what he did because she wanted to raise her salary again. In conversation, all the incidents between them become more and more severe than ever. I hope he starts talking about a place like this, not about her not saying anything, but about what she was trying to find out, and that's how this man is doing good. Dude, if you love this video and want another part, comment below.
If you want to continue, put likes and subscribe, as well as write a comment under the video for more you would like to see.